We are back in commission meeting live. Is everyone ready? Mr. Graz, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, item 3 on the agenda is the discussion and direction regarding the County Board of County Commissioners and County Staff's legal representation for the 7th Judicial District Court Case 2207-0004 and authorization of the County Administrator to execute retainer agreements on behalf of San Juan County staff and the Board of County Commissioners. I had reached out to USIP and asked for a list of USIP attorneys, and following that list have contacted originally 2 attorneys, one that would represent county staff. The county staff is named as one of the defendants in the lawsuit, and then also an attorney to represent the Board of County Commissioners. So the one that for county staff that I reached out to and he has agreed to is Scott Garrett with Durham, Jones, and Pinniger. I've sent him all of the information. I've been in discussion with him for a couple days. He was supposed to be sending me an agreement yesterday. I haven't received that yet. I'll reach out to him again, and which is why I'm asking for the authorization to execute the legal agreement with Scott. The unfortunate part in all of this is I don't know the prices. They haven't given me an hourly rate. Nevertheless, at this point in time, I don't think an hourly rate is really something that I would measure anything off of. It's more of getting an attorney to represent us by the 16th is probably more important to me than the rate. With the commissioners, to represent the Board of Commissioners, I have Scott Young, who's willing to represent the Board of County Commissioners. And he is with Snow, Christensen, and Martineau. He's willing to represent the Board of Commissioners, excluding Commissioner Adams. With Commissioner Adams, he's mentioned and asked that we seek a separate attorney for him. We do have a contract with Happy Morgan, and so it's still, my biggest concern is always meeting our procurement rules for services and hiring and soliciting services without going through an RFP, which is why I used USIP. We've always gone to USIP for attorney representation. Happy Morgan is a contracted vendor for the county already, and so Commissioner Adams has asked that Happy be his representative during the 16th meeting. I'll reach out to her and try to line that up. But Commissioner Gray, as we do have to have that meeting today with Scott Young, and where this individual will be representing the county commission. It'd be good to have you on that phone call today at 2. So that we can finalize that. But I am asking from the commissioners the authorization to go ahead and execute those agreements so that we are fully prepared on the 16th to have that representation for all of us.
Okay.
Any questions or concerns?
Go ahead and proceed with those plans.
Okay. Just need a motion to do so.
Don't we make a motion?
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we direct the county administrator to proceed with retaining attorneys as presented for the county's defense.
Is there a second to the motion? Directing the executive director to proceed with the hiring of attorneys.
Mr. Chair,
It's a Mary Boy.
before I make any move, my question is, if I wasn't allowed into the executive session and the outcome of this particular subject matter is a part of that, then how do I either second or proceed in being involved in what needs to happen?
Commissioner Maryboy is correct. If he doesn't feel comfortable, he's free to abstain from this vote.
Willie can make a second.
Since Mr. Adam is seeking a second or a separate attorney, could we do the same?
You're
I have
getting a separate
Scott
attorney
Young.
already.
Other than Mr. Young?
Yeah, if you'd like to call USIP and ask for another attorney through them. Yeah. These are the ones that USIP has already recommended. I tried to. The only other one that is, well, there's two that were on the list. There was two for Durham, Jones, and Pinniger, and I felt that where we already had one for the county administration, having a second one from that same firm didn't make sense. The other one, we can hire Jesse Trinidad to represent. That's the other USIP attorney. But I think Suter Axon may be concerned with the resolution that you also passed today, because they were part of some of that lawsuit. Those were the only options that I had from USIP. The only
Chair.
other option would be as if we don't have a contract with another attorney, you may be able to use some of our conflict attorneys on there. That, other than that, Scott Young was the easiest.
Mr. Maryboy?
Mr. Chair, we just barely appointed an attorney,
You can't
and
represent.
this attorney has every right to make a motion to dismiss, and everything that was asked of us by the judge has been fulfilled. From the judge's point, that has been fulfilled, and we did. And I'm assuming that this particular attorney that we appointed was in the executive session as well, because this attorney is the one that's supposed to be looking over, since the cases had been mooted. And it really doesn't make any sense why we're going in circles and doing this, and I wish there was more that I could speak to, because if I was a part of the executive session, that would change a lot. But now I'm just sitting here thinking.
Yeah, understandable.
And that should have been the job of our new attorney.
Yeah, Brittany. So you need to remember that Brittany is one of those individuals that is suing the county in her capacity as an applicant for this process. And so because of that, we still need somebody there representing the Board of Commission. We will also need somebody to represent the county in its entirety in case the county is also brought into the lawsuit. And so because of that, that's why you see the request to reach out to 3 attorneys that are under the USIP umbrella. But Brittany, Brittany's not here. She hasn't been a part of this, nor can she. Neither can Alex.
Well, this is only to hire or contract these attorneys.
For the 16th. depending where the 16th takes us, there may be different needs coming out of that meeting. I don't know. What I worry about is on the 16th, we're sitting here and we're meeting with a judge, and, one of those individuals that is suing us calls for something else, and the judge has legal questions and wants to go down a different road. My worry is not having representation there during that meeting that can actually give us good advice, good sound advice, legal advice. And so that's why I started that process of reaching out to these USIP attorneys so that we're prepared if the judge has questions and issues and there's motions to dismiss or motions to interject. I don't know. I've never been down this road. I'm not an attorney, but I sure do want the representation and feel that it would be best for you guys as well to have that representation going into that meeting. The question of outside attorneys, I would hesitate to go into that direction because then you've got this solicitation issue. By using the USIP attorneys, then we are following a process that has been followed throughout the state of Utah by other counties, or statewide, in selecting additional assistance and help when you have conflicts or whatever the case is. So it's a known process without breaking any procurement rules.
Actually, the 16th is Monday, right?
It is, and it's
we're
before
we're
commission
being
meeting.
sued. We need representation
Yes.
because we've been summoned to appear in court on Monday.
And this is the only commission meeting that we have to meet. So I'd like to have the contracts and agreements ready before you so that we can go over those and get authorization for those with your approval. But at this point in time, I don't have any agreements from these attorneys
Okay.
which is why I'm asking
With
for that.
I'd like to go ahead and say I'd like to request or to be represented by Steve Bose.
So I've thought about that as well coming back, but I think it's good that you know that they will be deposed. They will be brought in, not as attorneys, but they will be asked to. There are some questions that some individuals have mentioned to me that they would have of them, and so I think they would be a conflicted attorney at that point in time.
What's the conflict?
The conflict will be, just to put it out there, everything that's taken place behind the scenes, whether it's ordinances that have been drafted, resolutions that have been drafted in behalf outside of the county elected attorney. And so there may be questions, there will be questions regarding that information.
Well, we're talking about equal rights, equal opportunity, and Mr. Bruce Adams requested an individual.
She's on a county contract already.
So
We don't have a county contract with Stephen Booz. I also went as far as looking at the Utah State Bar. Utah State Bar, you can seek attorneys that have a specialty. Under the Utah State Bar, they have where you can look up the lawyers who practice or have experience in government administration. Stephen Booz, Liz Thomas, those individuals are not named as Utah attorneys having experience in government administration. So that was kind of my next step. If I couldn't find a USIP attorney willing to represent the county commission, then I would be going to the Utah State Bar and that list of qualified state attorneys that have that government administration experience.
Well, I still like to have that option.
So that's who you want to represent.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll reach back out to Yusuf if you could have them. In the meantime, I've asked for an agreement from Stephen Booz with you, Commissioner Mary Boy. In the past, he's told me that was attorney-client privilege, and so I don't know if this time around he's willing to send us an agreement of whether
Okay.
it's a retainer agreement or whatever the case is, so that I can get it to
With that, I'll
you. Said
go ahead and second the motion. Mr. Adams' motion.
I just motion to have Mac get some attorneys for us.
and then I'll send those to you once the agreements come in. I'll send them to you by email. But if this passes, then it at least authorizes me to execute those.
Okay. With that understanding, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Maryboy, are you online?
I'm online and I will abstain because like I said before, I'm not a part of the executive session. What we're doing is a part of the guidance
We're
of
back
that
in
executive session.
regular
we'll
session.
abstain. I will abstain. Go ahead and vote.
Okay. Aye. 2 ayes, 1 abstain. Motion carried.
We can go into executive session after this.
You're welcome to. I'm just letting you know that's a
Okay.
real possibility.
So before we adjourn, I would recommend that we go into executive session again so that I can advise you some concerns that are out there.
Okay.
Make a motion, we go into executive session.
So did you hear that, Mr. Maryboy?
I hear you very well, but it doesn't make any sense for me to take a position on that recommendation because I will not be allowed, even though Grand County does allow people to call in to go into executive session, but I don't know why we don't, and I would recommend our new attorney to be a part of the executive session.
Yeah, where we're discussing this case specifically, like I mentioned, she can't be. There's also a concern when you have executive session virtually or outside of being physically present. We don't know the extent of anyone's communication, whether it's on phone or other outside representatives that may be around you pushing that direction. So by having executive sessions in person, we know whether or not you're on the phone or being coached by someone else in the room.
That is true.
So
Grand County does allow executive participants on virtual or on the phone to be participants executive session.
Yeah, you've never done that in your policies and procedures. We don't have that. We could look at that later. And I can talk to Commissioner Maryboy as well, so he knows. Offline.
Okay. With that, I'll go and second the motion for executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks,
Aye,
guys.
also.